Alright, welcome to another video, just a quick one today. We're just doing a quick visit. We're going to give this its first cut after we overseeded and top dressed, and we're going to get some products on. So let's show you up close how we're getting on. Okay, so if you remember last time we were here 2 weeks ago, first of all we scalped the lawn, then we gave it a good scarify, a double pass, then we overseeded it and went on with some top dressing. So let's go back to today. Alright, so let's just have our customary walkover. We'll just come in close here. And we can see that we have got some germination, for example, like there. So very slow, just so cold at the minute, but been raining a lot, so that means I've not had to water it like last year. So although it looks pretty bare, this is perfect because what we've got the existing lawn already there. We've got those gaps being filled in nicely with the seed. So what we're going to do today is we're going to give it a equilibrium treatment because the lawn is already there. We don't need to worry about the old lawn outgrowing the new seed because it will just come through when it needs, because we're not going to have any gaps. Whereas what I don't want to do is on a lawn where I've got big gaps of openness is that you need the grass to stand upright to hold all the others in place. If you have big gaps in your feed and the seed hasn't come through yet, your ryegrass is going to grow in a clump and it's going to start growing sideways, which you don't want. So that's why I tend to hold off. But on a lawn where we've got a nice even coverage, it's fine to go on with some granular fertilizer. But then after I've done that, we'll go on with our standard Sopro, Grace, Orbit and Stella combination. So let's get to it. All right, so we're just going to cut it before we put our application of fertilizer and all the other products on. Don't be worried about damaging the new grass, that's fine, it'll be absolutely fine. Don't worry about it, it needs cutting at some point. The old lawn's coming through already, so we need to cut that anyway, and that new seed will be absolutely fine. So what I'm going to do is going to go on number 2, that'll be fine. 1 will be too short, we don't want to do any damage, but we do need to have it so close that we pick up all this debris that's fallen from all the trees around. Like this week, it's just been so windy. As you saw in the last video, that was just what it was like all week. So this is the first still day we've had in a while, so let's get to it. Okay, now a bit wet this bottom end, but that'll come back. Better doing damage now rather than not doing it now, because we know it'll come back. And if we don't end up cutting the lawn because we're scared about doing the damage, we're going to lose control of the rest of the lawn. So we'll sacrifice this little area for the good of the rest of the lawn. So that's why I've done that. But once we've fed it and it dries up, you won't recognise this lawn in a few weeks, promise. You know, there's no hiding places, you know, but fully confident it'll come back. Now the problem I have got is just so many worm casts. Never seen so many worm casts on this lawn ever, even in the winter. It's just ridiculous. I presume the worms are just coming up to take all this nice organic matter that we've been putting on, but hopefully as the temperatures rise and it dries out, those will start going back deeper into the ground and we don't have to worry about them. So looks all right, you know. Could we be further on? Yeah, but we're all governed by the weather and there's just nothing I can do. But get a feed on, get some products on, and it'll make me feel better. And I guarantee you, a few weeks we'll be looking absolutely spot on. Okay, so next step is our Equilibrium granular fertilizer. We put this on first before we spray, so we don't wet that leaf. So if we did it after, this would stick to it and it might not get washed in, and you end up with it drying on the foliage. And then when you mow it next time, you take it all off. So that's why we do it in this order. Remember when I mowed, I did the double stripes for this reason, so I have guidelines. I'm on 29 on my spreader, so we're good to go. And don't worry if you get any on the paths, there's no iron in this so it won't stain, but it's just good practice to sweep it up anyway, especially if you're a tradesman, just so it doesn't look like you don't care. I remember when I did used to do lawn treatment service like 10-15 years ago, I used to pick up a lot of customers off the lawn treatment companies because they used to leave pallets all over the pavement, because in those days it was so cheap the fertilizer, that they could just afford to use loads, and they didn't carry blowers or brushes, so they couldn't sweep it up, and that used to really be a bugbear for the customers, and I used to pick up loads. But then the recession hit in 2008, and obviously the first thing to go is lawn care, so they lost a lot of customers. And then what happened was they started putting less fertilizer on, and obviously then the customers weren't seeing the results, so they lost more customers. It was like a double whammy. So I always do it right. I never choose profit over people. That's not a good thing to do, so we always do it right. Alright, so that's all the products mixed together. As you saw, you can just mix them neat. You don't have to worry about them coagulating or anything like that. Add them to whatever water you want, however much water it takes to do your lawn. You'll be the best judge of that. And just time to spray. Luckily, there's a bit of rain due as well, so that'll wash it in later on. So we're good to go. Okay, so that's this video over and done with. There's going to be some short ones and there's going to be some long ones throughout the year, and this is a short one. So what have we done? We give it its first cut since we did our scarifying, overseeding and top dressing. We went on with some Equilibrium, and then we went on with our 4 products: Stella, Grace, SoPro and Orbit. All these are designed to give us the seed the best chance of getting away in terms of the liquids, and that Equilibrium is going to get our old lawn back up and running in no time. So if you want to see more lawns being turned around like this, then join me next time on Daniel Hibbert Lawn Expert, and I promise we're going to get on with that side very, very soon. So see you next time.